guys, I'm Allison, owner of Reveal Hair and Makeup. I'm going to be sharing with you some tips on eloping in Hawaii. So on this channel, we talk about hair and makeup, of course, but we have clients from all over the world, so they're always asking us questions, about Hawaii or about weddings. So we plan to share with you as much as we can about Hawaii and about weddings. So let me get back to some tips for you if you're eloping here in Hawaii. So of course there's so many beautiful beaches, beautiful mountain ranges, and so many good locations to have a mini ceremony or elopement. So if you're looking to have that wedding here, that beautiful tropical wedding, I have a couple of tips. And we do have a friend, she's a wedding planner. She owns Simple Oahu and Simple Maui Wedding, and she does a lot of elopements and mini ceremonies. I figured she'd be the perfect person to chat with you guys about some tips while you're in the planning process. So Karma's going to be joining us through video chat to share with you some of her, go-to tips for planning. Hey everyone, so here is Karma. She is the owner of Simple Oahu and Simple Maui Wedding. She's also a photographer, so I figured she'd be the perfect person to give us some tips on if you're going to elope here in Hawaii. So Karma, what is your number one go-to tip for anyone who's planning an elopement here?
Well, the thing I tell everybody that asks for my advice with this is the best advice I can give is to hire a coordinator. This is not something that's super expensive. You can hire just a day of coordinator. You can hire someone to plan every single last detail for you. There's a lot of range in that. But because people are planning a wedding from so far away, it really, really helps to have someone who is on the ground, familiar with the local area, the local rules, the local customs that can help your wedding day be a big success. And not to mention, they take a lot of stress off your shoulders, even if it's just a day of person, because they are the ones that have their cell phone out, confirming vendors, making sure they're going to be there on time, making sure if any guests are lost, they can guide them in to where you're at. So there's a lot that, a lot of people think that elopements are really simple, and they are really, especially compared to a regular, full wedding, but they still require a lot of coordination and detail orientedness. So having someone to be that liaison for you, I think is super important.
Yeah, no, we totally agree. And I think there's a few components that go into eloping. You can't just show up, on a hike or on a beach and just get married. So I'm sure one of the things you have to deal with is permitting, right? Like you have to get a permit to actually get married on the beach.
Absolutely. So anyone who wants to get married on a public beach, and there's also other locations besides the beach that you can get married on with permits, but they all have to be permitted if it's on any kind of public land. So there's different kinds of permits based on whether it's a state or county location as well. So again, a coordinator can help you walk through those and know the rules and regulations. For beach weddings, which is obviously the most popular in Hawaii, there is a beach permit that you can get on your own if you have a lot of extra time and you're really detail oriented and you don't mind doing a little bit of research. The state does on their website have ways where the bride or groom or the couple can actually go and get their own permit, but you do have to purchase special wedding insurance for that. Whereas if you hire a day of coordinator or a regular coordinator, they're in the system. They could literally go get a permit for you like tomorrow. Like they have an account, they have the insurance all ready to go. So it's very easy for them to go ahead and get you the correct permits for the correct locations. And also, you cannot get a permit for every single beach. So if you show up on a beach and you might actually have your wedding stopped by Department of Land and Natural Resources by saying, hey, there's no weddings allowed on this beach. So there are definitely specific locations that you need to know that are just not kosher for weddings at all. And then of course there's different regulations around those permits. So if someone were to come and observe your wedding, they would be making sure that it's within the requirements of the permit. So some of those things that you have to do for a beach wedding and have a permit is guest counts are limited. For a wedding on the beach, you're actually limited to 30 people total. That's including your vendors. So your guest count would be obviously need to be under 30 because it's going to include you, your partner, your photographer, your coordinator, your musician, all those kind of stuff, plus your guests. Currently, right now, in September of 2020, those counts are limited as well due to COVID. So right now it's only 10 total, including vendors. So we're looking at very small weddings for now until they put the restrictions back to the normal 30. Other things are you cannot have chairs or arches or any kind of decorations that get stuck into the sand, like physically stuck into the sand. You're not allowed to have huge setups on the beach. And the reason for this is that they don't want to impede the use of the beach for other people. So if they allowed this, and let's say a beach had like 10 weddings set up on it, then it's going to not make it so people who want to just go and enjoy the beach on their own aren't able to do that. And that's in Hawaii, public beach access is very important. So they do this to limit people taking up huge amounts of the beach. Other kinds of restrictions, no alcohol, no fireworks, so no sparkler exits, things like that. All these are kinds of things that a coordinator could let you know about in advance, so there's no surprises when it comes to the day of your wedding.
Right, and I think that's what keeps the beaches looking so good too, is that they are done and, very regulated. And so it is nice to see, it done right, so that way there isn't any issues. So I totally agree with you. I think our happiest clients have used a coordinator or some sort of way to arrange it properly, but that's one of the most important things for us to let you guys know is there are regulations, and you can't just show up and do whatever you want at the beach, just like you would if you were going to have a nice day off. It actually is a ceremony, and whether you're eloping just the two of you, you probably will be wearing a dress. And so it is noticeable that you're actually having that wedding. And so it would just, be the worst if it was interrupted for any reason. But yeah, I think, Karma, you hit everything. It really, it's great chatting with you about these tips. We obviously have so many brides we've shared together. And so it was nice to get that information straight from you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me. And I do love working with you and your team. You guys do great work.
Thank you so much, Karma. And then, of course, you'll have a link for her information in our description, so you guys can check out a simple Oahu or simple Maui wedding, depending on what island you desire to elope or have a mini ceremony at.
Yay.
Yeah, thank you so much, Karma.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good day.
You too, thanks.
Thanks, bye.
Bye. I hope you guys enjoyed some of Karma's tips for planning your elopement here. I will say, what she said about having a day of coordinator is so important. I actually got married a while back, and I was not in the wedding industry when I got married, so I didn't have any vendor friends to call and help me out. But we did skip out on having a coordinator, and I will tell you, especially the couple weeks before, you don't realize how many little things, even if it's an elopement, there's paperwork, and there's directions to the location, and timing and weather, and hair and makeup and everything, just to kind of finalize. And so even though it might seem like a small ceremony to you, mine was small as well, but I definitely recommend having someone just to be that go-to person to make sure everything's lined up for you. It really will make your day so much more relaxing. All of our brides who choose to have a coordinator, even if it's just for the day of, they are so relaxed, especially the day of. We're just like, oh yeah, you have it all figured out, and they seem to be super ready just to enjoy the day. And so I actually have a couple tips for you guys too. One, just going back to what Karma said, you will need to get a permit, and you can't get married at every single beach. So you're gonna wanna make sure you look at the beaches you're able to get married at, and make sure you get a permit for that beach. And that way you're able to safely enjoy your wedding day. And then my second tip is, while you're here, whether it's on your wedding day, or even just out at the beach for the day, Hawaii is beautiful for a reason. We really love keeping it that way. So if you can please clean up any trash that you bring down to the beach, or any of your belongings, just make sure our beaches stay beautiful so other people can enjoy them as well. So that is it on my tips for eloping here in Hawaii. We do have a video on some of my favorite elopement locations if you want to check that one out. And of course, we would love if you took a second to subscribe to our channel and go ahead and follow us on Instagram at Reveal Hair and Makeup. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Bye.